so I'm super excited. I'm going to be filming my first Q&A. If you missed the opportunity to submit a question, I apologize. I posted a video on here and basically on all my social medias. Basically, if you don't follow me on any of this stuff, sucks. Make sure you do. It's all in the description below. And hopefully I will get to do these often. I like doing this kind of stuff, tags and whatnot. So like I said, I posted it on basically all of my social media platforms. So I'm just going to be going through and reading off the different stuff. I apologize in advance for the lighting. It's about almost 10 o'clock here because I got off work at 9. So my lighting's not great. I have no natural lighting. But yeah, so we're just going to go through. I'm going to start with Twitter. That one had kind of the shortest amount of questions. Got a feeling it would. Alright, so the first question is brought to me by Blur from the Small YouTuber Army. Hashtag Small YouTuber Army. For any small YouTubers out there that don't know what it is, it's basically a fantastic community. There's a Facebook page, Twitter, follow all them, leave it in the description below. And he asked, has anyone asked you where the name CarnageCandyy came from? So I actually mentioned this in my last video, where I gave you kind of a sneak peek of my wall over there. And basically what CarnageCandyy means is it's a reference to Scream 2. There is a scene where Randy and Dewey are sitting in a coffee shop talking about who the suspect could be, and about how, you know, it's the sequel, so it has to be like even more intense, and basically Randy says, like, it's talking about how it could be like a bloodbath, and he's like, it's CarnageCandyy. And so, yeah, it's a reference to that. If you watch Scream 2, and that scene, it's in there. Yeah, that's where it came from. And somebody already had the name CarnageCandyy, I think just on Twitter, but they didn't really, like, post a whole lot, so I just added a second way. And then my significant other, my lovely Matthew, asked me if you could change one thing about the horror movie industry, what would it be? And I love that question. Thank you so much for asking me that. So yeah, if I could change one thing about the horror movie industry, I guess just still the amount of sexism. Luckily, I feel like over the past few years, it's definitely toned it down. You definitely have more female-led horror films, which is fantastic, you know. But, unfortunately, there still is quite a bit of sexism in some of the horror films, as well as just in the horror fandom general, unfortunately. So, yeah, I guess that would be that, and just, I don't know if this necessarily counts, but just the amount of, like, remakes and overdone, like, topics, I guess. Like, it just seems like spewing out the same stuff over and over again. So if we could get more original films, that would also be great. But yes, so those are the only ones submitted to Twitter. Had a feeling that would happen. Twitter, I don't know, people don't, and I interact with other YouTubers a lot on there, but not, you guys don't interact with me on Twitter as much. So moving on from Twitter, I'm going to go to Instagram. The first question was by lovely Vicky at Nightmare Maven. If you guys don't know who she is, stop sleeping on this girl. She's fantastic. Check her out. We'll leave a link to the description below. She's a fellow horror YouTuber and just a sweet, great person. Thank you. So she said, what have you found to be the best part about being a YouTuber and worst? So I would say the best part is the community. Getting to interact with other horror fans and especially other horror YouTubers is so much fun. I've like met great people like you, Vicky, and just a lot of other really awesome horror fans through getting to do this. So yeah, getting to like chat with other people who have the same interests as me is really cool. Worst thing? I mean, I really haven't stumbled upon horribleness. I have yet to really get too many mean comments, which, I mean, brush off my shoulder anyway, even if I did. You know, I get the rarity every now and then, luckily. That'll change eventually, I'm sure. I would say the worst thing is the recent changes with YouTube. You know, none of my videos are monetized at all because I haven't reached the set of views required to even be able to monetize videos now. They completely removed monetizing away from me, which is annoying. And I know that that's something that's affecting a lot of horror YouTubers. And it sucks because I would love to be able to make YouTube a full-time thing, but I don't see that happening anytime soon with all the kind of bullshit going on with that. So that sucks. That's kind of really the only worst thing is just the fact that YouTube has been changing so much so quickly and we're all kind of getting screwed over. So the next several set of questions were submitted by one of my best friends, Alyssa. She left me a few questions on Instagram. So I'm gonna answer all of them because why not? It'll be a real long Q&A, but whatever. So she left me so many. So if you could go to any country, where would you go? I'm sure she already knows the answer to this. I would go to London, England, if I could. I've always wanted to travel there. Or Ireland. My mom's side of the family is Irish, so I would love to do that as well. How old were you when you started wearing makeup? Well, the first time I ever wore any sort of makeup was foundation when I got the chicken pox when I was in elementary school. But when I really started getting into makeup was probably 3 or so years ago. I did not grow up in like a makeup heavy household. My mom's not a super girly girl, so neither me and my sister were raised on doing makeup. So we've both learned everything kind of on our own. So I got into it really into the game. So yeah, probably 3 or so years ago. Yep. Do you have any talents? No, not really. Do this. Not really a talent. I've played a few different instruments. I was actually pretty good at playing the bass, which I talked about in my 25 Facts About Me video. But yeah, I guess aside from playing the bass, I think I'm pretty decent at doing my makeup. That's kind of it. Favorite color? Hot pink and lime green. I know. I wear all black. Everything is always either blood splatter or black and white, but my actual favorite colors are hot pink and lime green. Favorite type of food? So I do love Mexican and like Italian foods, or I guess like the American version of Italian foods. But being vegan, can make having especially Mexican food kind of hard. So a lot of it's like homemade usually. But yeah, I love a good old Mexican meal. So yeah. If you could be any animal, what would you be? So obviously penguins talked about penguins are my favorite animals. However, I don't know as though I would necessarily want to be a penguin, especially with global warming. Poor babies. So I guess if I could be any animal, I would like to be a cheetah. They're the fastest animals in the world, but they're also surprisingly extremely sweet animals. They're very, like, they're easily scared, just like me. But they can also be very social and very friendly. So yeah, cheetah, because they're cool. And they're probably, aside from like hunters, probably don't have a lot to be scared of. Or maybe other bigger cats, but yes. Okay, how old were you when you realized you were bisexual? So for those who don't know, you know, I'm pretty open about it, especially on Twitter, and I've talked about it on here. I am bisexual. I basically came to terms with that when I was probably like 15 or 16. Didn't really know what it was until someone told me. Or I met someone who was. She labeled herself as that and talked about it. So then I was like, oh, that sounds like me. So yeah, probably like 15 or 16. Okay, and then oh my Stephanie Michelle, which this is really awesome that she left a comment. Pretty excited about that. She asked me, where is your favorite place to shop? So my favorite place that I actually shop is probably, aside from like Ulta for makeup, like an actual clothes place, I mostly shop at like Rue 21, sometimes Target. Usually Target's just mostly looking at stuff, but yeah, I would say so. As far as spending money on clothes at places, usually Route 21. Love that place. As far as places I would love to spend all my money, there are a few different online shops that I always look at. I'm like, oh, I wish I could spend all my money there. So like Nikki Lipstick, I love any of her stuff, or kind of any of those similar websites like Dolls Kill and well, yeah, anybody who's like into either of those sites kind of know those other websites that are similar. One online website that I have a couple pieces from, is actually that I love, is girlscout.com. It's 2 R's. I actually got this sweet sweater there. And it says always cold club. So check her out. She actually just recently did a restock, and she's it's just her and her boyfriend. She's like an online personality. So yeah, she's pretty awesome, and her stuff's pretty cool. So, yeah. And then okay, so that was it for le Instagram. So I'm gonna move on to Facebook. So I posted in the small YouTuber army, and so a couple people in there left some questions. So let me see. Okay, I already posted that one twice. I already answered that. So Lisa said, what came first, the orange or the color orange? I'm going to probably say, I'm gonna take a guess and say the color orange came first before the actual orange. 'Cause who knows? I'm gonna assume the orange is named after the color orange. Maybe. I don't know. Makes sense to me. Sophie asked, what is your pet peeve? I would have to say just entitled people. I work at a call center, so I deal with entitled people a lot, and it is annoying. So yeah, I would just say people who feel like, you know, the world owes them everything, or just get on my nerves. That and people who automatically assume they deserve respect. I'm a strong believer in the give respect, get respect. I don't feel like people who are necessarily older or in higher positions should necessarily get your respect just because they are those things. You know, if you don't show respect to me, I can't, you know, I'm gonna have a hard time showing you respect, so that's kind of answered that twice. But yeah, basically entitled people who think that they automatically deserve respect. And then Lynn Elizabeth Richard, 3 names, asked me a few questions. She said, what's your fave holiday cookie to make? So I don't really bake. Obviously, I mean, you can bake vegan food. It is possible, but baking can be a little bit more complicated because you don't have eggs. So yeah, I don't really bake cookies, but I guess, yeah, I never really had like a favorite holiday cookie. So can't really answer that one. Sorry. But she also asked, ever fallen ice skating? Yes, I have. I have not been ice skating in a long time, not since I was very young, but I definitely fell a few times. Okay, and then the last question, do you have pets? If so, what are their names? Yes, technically have 4, including my boyfriend's cat. So I have my cat, Kellen, who is a gray tabby somewhere. I guess I will go into detail regarding their names because I don't think I talked about that much. Kellen is actually named after Kellen Quinn from Sleeping with Sirens. Callie, who is my black cat, her name was Callie when I got her from the Humane Society, and I decided to just keep it because Callie and Kellen, that is cute. Kind of regret it now after a while, but my hedgehog, who y'all saw in my furry pet tag video that I did last, which I've done one for them too. But yes, my hedgehog named Peppa, and then Matt's cat is now all of them are ours, but together now. But yeah, and then his cat's name is Fluffy. Yeah, no, it's not super original, I think. So those were the ones from old Facebook. So now we are down to the last ones, which were left on YouTube. So the first one is from Ghoul World Order. Hey, you're awesome. You always leave me nice comments, so thank you. And they said, what's your favorite horror TV show? Even the ones that were canceled count. So I would probably say I've had a mixed relationship with a lot of these. Now, I do love the Scream series. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I really did enjoy it. Kind of bummed that season 3 is gonna be like a whole new cast, I guess, which doesn't really go along with like the theme of the movies, so that's kind of a bummer. But I can get it at the same time. So I would say probably for me, I don't know, so it's hard depending on what people perceive as like horror. So I'm gonna say Bates Motel because I feel like that one's really, really horror esque, but I also love obviously like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. About the first 5 or 6 seasons of Supernatural I really enjoyed. Yes, I am one of those people that stopped watching it after like the 6th season. If you're a Supernatural fan, some of you will know why. But yeah, so, and then Dexter, I love, love, love. I'm actually currently rewatching that, but that one's not really too horror-esque. Like, I don't find it, like, scary. So I will go with Bates Motel. I love Bates Motel. I have not finished it yet because not all the episodes are on Netflix yet. So they might be now. I gotta check. But so don't spoil it for me. I will hunt you down and find you if you spoil that movie for me. Then random horror. Hi, another great person. As to what is your favorite supernatural creature? So for this, I guess I would have to say probably vampires. Obviously. I mean, I love ghosts. Pretty obsessed with obviously like the ghost emoji. But yeah, like cute little ghost drawings are adorable. But yeah, like an actual pick for my favorite supernatural creature, I would probably have to say vampires. Awesome. Okay, and then the horror miser, hello, said, how did you get into horror? So I've talked about this a little bit before as well. I actually got into horror from Scream 4. I was very late to the horror game. There's a few horror films that I had seen when I was younger. I saw Poltergeist when I was very young. I think a few times for whatever reason. Remember watching that. I just always remembered the clown from Poltergeist for whatever reason. Obviously, you watch things like Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark? And then I saw the first Final Destination when that came out. So young when that came out, and scarred me. I was terrified of everything for a really long time. Couldn't even sleep with my ceiling fan on. Like, did not matter how hot it was. Nope. So, yeah, I was really easily scared when I was younger, so it really took me a really long time to get into horror. So, but when Scream 4 came out, I really wanted to see that, mostly because of kind of some of the guest actors that were in it. You know, they had a lot of people that came in at very short roles. One of those people being Adam Brody. Talked about this in my 25 Facts, but I used to love Adam Brody, so I really wanted to see it because I knew that he was in it. He plays one of the cops that gets killed. Oh, spoiler alert, gets killed. And so, yeah, I really wanted to see it, so decided to watch all of them, and I did, and fell in love. It's, you know, it's a great segue into horror type movie if you're trying to get something that's not too super scary, but just enough. So yeah, I instantly became like obsessed with Scream, and obviously still am. And so yeah, I basically, that got me into horror, and I started watching more and watched again. I watched the Final Destination movies, watched the Saw movies. I just love a good franchise. But yeah, so that got me into horror, and I got obsessed. And so now I just watch horror all the time. But yeah, that's what got me into horror. So those are actually all the questions. I feel like that's a great question to end on. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you got a little more insight into moi.